So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce a surprise guest. Christina Strang is a graphologist who's going to talk a little bit about her work using handwriting as a diagnostic tool across domains of both personal development and recruitment. I will leave her to say a little more about that. Christina Strang.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Petia for allowing me this opportunity to actually talk about my poster, or the two posters that are over there. I was highly excited when I heard that Dan was actually coming here, and I've come from Wiltshire, so it's taken me, it takes 7 hours to get here. London was closer, Dan, but it was a bit more expensive, but it's actually worked out very expensive to be here now. But, and of course, you're in London on Sunday, aren't you? Yes, so really excited. And then I read on the website that Petia was asking for posters linking the physical with the mental, emotional and social domains. And of course, that's exactly what graphology does. So what exactly is graphology? Well, I'm just going to read this out to you. And I stole it from the Dana Foundation website, which is brain research foundation out in America. I did phone them and ask them if I could use it. And I'm afraid I'm just going to read this because there's no way can I ever remember it. But it says, anatomically, even scrawling a quick note to yourself, pick up milk, is a complex voluntary procedure, engaging the cooperation of all lobes of your cerebral cortex with other parts of your brain, including the limbic system, hippocampus, brainstem, and cerebellum, and finally the spinal cord, which sends impulses out to your hands and fingers. Damage to any of these parts will affect your fine motor control and show up as some type of break in the rhythm or control of your handwriting. So I just want to do a little exercise with you. I'd like you to all pick up your pens and write a sentence, and at some point in that sentence that you're writing, I want you to stop and look at how you're holding that pen in writing. So, right, off you go. Just write a sentence and just stop as you're writing. Any sentence you like. I'm here at the Sage Gatehouse, listening to a load of boring farts, talking about their passions. Okay? Now you all stopped. Now, all of those that are holding their pen in a very relaxed state and close to the nib, put your pens down. Okay? All of those that are holding the pen close to the nib, but are showing a knuckle, how does that actually feel?
Showing a knuckle.
Showing a knuckle where the finger is actually bent. Okay? The finger is bent in stress. Okay? You can put your pens down now. Ones that are holding the pen further up, relaxed, you can put your pens down. Now, those that are left will be those that hold their pens something like that, or like that, and we see them all. All right? Now, this is a grasp, and it generally means that you haven't actually been taught how to hold a pen. But this is all about still part of the palmar reflex, where you hang on tight. Years back, generations past, to the mother's fur. So what you're trying to do is still hang on now. All right? So what you've got is stress actually coming down through the system, through your hands. And the ones that are holding it very tight, close to the nib, it's all about control. So what is that actually saying about the control that you have in your lives, or what you're trying to attain? So could I have the slide up, please? Thank you. So this is some handwriting that I was doing for a client. But first of all, I'll talk about the red box over on the far left-hand side. It was some research I did looking at heart disease in handwriting. I'm the only graphologist in the UK to have done fully ethically approved research, and it was looking to see whether heart disease could actually be seen in handwriting. Now, like Louise, number crunching statistics don't do anything for me, so I had the research design service in the UK actually sort out all the stats for me. That was sorting out the numbers of patients I needed to see and also the stats at the end to show what had happened. And through the research, I was able to identify, I say heart disease, but actually it wasn't proven as such it was heart disease. It could have been stress or something leading to heart disease through handwriting before symptoms ever manifested. As a result of that research, one of the leading UK cardio consultants at the Royal Brompton Hospital in London suggested that the next stage of research for me would be to identify the different types of heart disease, because he felt very much that that would be possible. Unfortunately, as has been said in the past, funding is well nigh impossible in the UK to get for anything like this. I've been asked, as a result of doing that research, to do further research on preeclampsia, and that's now at ethics stage, and also by another consultant to do diabetes in handwriting, and that's at protocol stage. So I'm looking for funding. Anybody out there that's really wealthy that wants to fund me, please go ahead. I'd love to talk to you later. Anyway, now on to the case report. As I said, we look at the physical, mental, emotional, and social domains in the writing. So, as a graphologist, the first thing I look for is rhythm of form, movement, and space. If somebody has rhythm, then they have it throughout the body. So if there is a dislocation in the rhythm, if there isn't equilibrium in the rhythm of either form, movement, or space, then I know instantly that there is an issue based on that part. So form is all about I, me, the person. Movement is all about energy, and space is about relationships, how you position yourself with other people. And so looking at this one, again, looking at the chaos and rigidity, which we can also see in handwriting. Again, thank you, Dan. It was work I'd been doing without realising that we were talking on the same wavelength here. But yes, you can see chaos and rigidity. And in fact, the other sample over on the board over there shows chaos far easier than this one does. But there is arrhythmia in this writing. Okay. Now, again, looking at the attachment theory side of this particular guy had insecure ambivalent mothering and insecure avoidant father. So he ended up not knowing how to relate to women at all, and really just had complete problems with knowing how to relate to men. And his relationship with his own children has shown this quite strongly. He mirrored what he'd been taught, or what he'd learned through experiences from his mother. And so in his mature life, he looked for another dominant woman. So you can see there about the rhythm. You can see that the writing is all over the place. It's left, it's right. There's mixed spacing there. The other thing that we look at is to see whether everything is in size. So everything has to be equal in size, and none of that is in size. It doesn't correlate one with the other. So I ended up with quite a few issues here with him, and you can kind of read some of the writing later. But from the health perspective, I picked up that he had a hormonal imbalance, and that was caused by what we call the mixed slant writing. The writing was all over the place. So I don't know whether it's chicken and egg, whether it's the hormonal imbalance caused the writing to flick from side to side, or whether it was the writing causing the hormonal imbalance, but one or the other. I picked up I did a verbal report to him to start with, and I said, you've got a sexual dysfunction. There's nothing wrong with it, it works fine, he said. Anyway, he shot off to the doctor after I'd seen that he was depressed as well. And he did go to the doctor, and the doctor was able to do blood tests and found that he had the lowest testosterone count that he'd ever come across. And so that was the sexual dysfunction mixed with a hormonal imbalance. So those two, because I'm not allowed to diagnose because I'm not a clinician. The other thing I found is that he had organic malfunction. Didn't know what it was, but I knew there was an organic malfunction there. And he recently has had heart surgery, had a triple heart bypass. And during all the tests, they found that in fact he was missing completely one artery to his heart. And he'd been born without one of his arteries. So goodness knows how he's ever been able to cope. But his whole attitude was very lackadaisical, very laid back. And he relied totally on Google to do his work for him. And he was very good at managing others, but actually doing his own work, he had to sit at a computer and just do it, but didn't know why he was always feeling so tired. So, all in all, there was quite a few things that came out of that writing. And at the bottom box there, I've shown the feedback from him and what he actually had to say. So that really covers this poster, but to those who know about acupuncture, I also use the elements when I'm looking at writing. And this one is actually an airtight writing. It's quite light, it's connected in a lot of ways, and that will show a preponderance for asthma, hay fever, that sort of thing, and he admitted that he did have severe hay fever. So that actually went into the writing. So thank you very much indeed for listening to me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.